I am joined by Petra Elkan this morning, who owns a design company. So Petra, I'll hand over to yourself if you'd like to tell us a bit more about what you do, the services you offer, and how long you've been running the business for.
Okay. The business originally started in '89 as an architecture business with my late husband Barry Briscoe, and we always were based in Penzance. We worked also initially in France, doing high quality architecture. And up until about 2010, we had an office with a team of 10. And then after my husband died, I carried on doing the architecture business. So I've been doing it as just me for 11 years now, something like that. Yeah, so just building on some of the client base that we built up over the years. So the kind of architectural work I do. So the thing is that I'm not a qualified architect.
Okay.
But when I started to work on my own, I realized Barry's a great teacher, and we work very closely together. So I realized that actually I'd learned an enormous amount. So that's how, that just gave me the confidence to launch out on my own.
Yeah.
So the kind of, what I think the way that I like to work is I like to just have a few clients. I like to give them a really thorough and personal service. And I like to work from the start to the finish, really. They appreciate not just the design and the planning stages of building process, but just helping them through the build as well. And so the service is, I do planning and building control, technical design, but I also have an extensive experience of interior design and project management. So that is all part of it. And the kinds of projects that I work on, I do look for. I don't know really why, but I suppose it's just because there's a lot of old buildings in this area. I do quite a lot of historic buildings. I do mostly domestic, not all, but mostly domestic, and extensions and refurbs and rebuilds, things like that. Okay. So yeah, and I work from my home in Penzance.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
Fantastic. I took a look at your website actually and did have a look at some of the properties which were on there, and they're beautiful properties, nice gardens and surroundings of some of them too.
Yeah, there's some nice stuff. The thing is, I did that website when I started on my own, and I haven't touched it since, and there's so much work that I haven't put on there. And the thing is it's it's just been really, really busy. Yeah. And when the moment comes, I thought when COVID came along, I thought, oh, right, finally, I'm going to have a chance to, redo my website, maybe do a bit of training. But I did do a bit of that, but it's just kind of really, because the way that I work, it can take 3 years from the first time a client rings me up to handing the keys over. So, I've rolled on really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what's your sort of capacity in terms of projects? Like how many projects can you have live at the same time?
Well, how many have I got on at the moment? I've got 2 on site, and I think really 2 or 3, depending on the type of project. I had 4 at one time a couple of years ago, and that was a bit much, really. So really 2 or 3 is probably my limit, actually in being built. Mm-hmm. But actually in the pipeline, probably working on about 7 or 8, 9, something like that. They're all at different stages.
Yeah. And that's just you. You have a team, or it's just yourself working?
No. No. Having a team of 10, when we had the team of 10, it was a different thing, really, but no, never again.
Yeah.
It's No, I'd rather I do what I have started doing lately is I've been collaborating with Amanda Vivian, who sort of kind of did a similar thing to me. Worked with a partner closely who's an architect over many years, and she's a super talented designer.
Okay.
And so we've just started a major collaboration actually, and it's she just really, absolutely amazing designer. So we'll see how that goes, and that's been great so far. Yeah, we're just
Awesome.
just in just at the beginning of that, and it's really nice to have someone to to bounce ideas off and things like that. Yeah.
Is that a Cornish-based designer too?
Oh yes, yeah. She's based at Truro. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so that's good to sort of expand and have another sort of contact you can sort of correspond with.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. Yeah.
How was working through the pandemic for you? I imagine in my head people were spending a lot of time on their houses, so potentially was it a busy time for you?
No. What happened was I obviously had projects already happening.
Yeah.
But as far as new projects was concerned, it was tumbleweed for a while there, which was okay because, like I said, I thought I'll get a bit of breathing space. And then it really just kind of stopped. The new stuff just stopped coming in.
Sure.
And then it's kind of slowly cranked up again actually in the last 6 months. So it's got really busy now with stuff coming up. But for a while there people just stopped. They just stopped doing it really. They weren't, they were just waiting to see what happened.
I guess people were sort of doing projects themselves, small scale home projects.
I mean the thing is that if you need planning or you need building control or something like that, then you've got to go to a specialist. You can't really do that yourself. I think people were just not doing it. Obviously some people are under pressure to do projects, but mostly they just stopped for a while. And then there was this whole thing of lockdown easing up and everything kind of starting up again, and that's all become a whole nother thing really. The cost of materials has gone up hugely, and it's quite hard to get hold of stuff, very difficult to get, it's harder to get builders. All of that's what happened afterwards.
Lots of repercussions following.
And I'm sure that, I mean, it's what's happened in a great many industries.
Of course, you do hear about the building supplies quite a lot though, so so almost sounds like you have extensive years sort of being a business owner and running your own business.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Before I did this, I was working I was in London, and I was working for an interior design business in London, and before that I worked in I did like fairly different things. I worked in fashion and marketing, and what else did I do? Yeah, that sort of area really. Media.
In the creative sector.
Yeah, definitely, and that's been great because it just gives you, if you do different things before, then it does give you a lot of useful skills that you can then bring to whatever you do afterwards.
Interesting. What so as a business owner, I guess, what would your sort of top takeaways be, your top pieces of advice that you would give to somebody thinking about going into business themselves?
What would I advise them? Be brave. I think the thing that helped me the most starting my business was that I had a few conversations with people that were in the area, and said, "Oh, look, I've been offered some work on my own, and I'm going to do it." And they said, "Well, good for you. If you need anything, you can count on our support." And that was amazing. So I'd say, know who to ask. Think about who's around that can give you support and advice. And ask for it.
Not be afraid to ask.
No, exactly. So that was something that I learned. Yeah. I don't know, what else would I say to people? Kind of depends on the business, really. But yeah, I mean, you've got to, you do have to have all your ducks in a row when it comes to the paperwork and all the admin and all of that. And also the kit, you've got to have good kit, whatever you use, whatever it is you need to do your business, you've got to have proper kit. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then, so we sort of talked about how you had a team of 10 and now you're working by yourself again. So my next question is, if you would do anything differently, what would you do differently with your business?
When we had the big team, I started to learn computer because I draw by hand, which is okay, but it has its limits. And I started to learn to draw by computer. But then because we had clever young people who would just do the computer bits and I would just direct them, I kind of lost those computer skills. They I didn't sort of keep going with it. And I think what I'd like to change is I'd like to have stayed with the computer aided design right from the start, so that I would have it now, because that would be really useful. And that was one of the things I wanted to do during lockdown, was to just go back into it. Yeah, that would be handy. What else would I change? I think that's the main thing, really, is that. Everything else is, it's been fun,
good journey, a good business journey.
Yeah, definitely. It's been immensely satisfying to build it up and for clients to come back. That's always really nice. But I do, thinking about when I started out on my own, it was a great leap. So if you have to have that, either that a good reason for doing it, or you have to have that kind of slightly entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, of course, I agree.
It's really rewarding then. Yeah. And the whole thing about working from home or working on your own and being in the architecture business it's long hours. It's quite hard to control the amount of time you put into it if you want to do a really good job. So that's quite tricky.
Sending work off and waiting for it to be approved, or having a list of amendments to make back or something. And
when you've got stuff on site, people bring you up like at sort of 7:30 in the morning and start asking you technical questions, and you've got to be prepared for that. Or you have to rush off to site to sort something out, so that there's a certain amount of the time management starts to be difficult, because you need that quiet time on the drawing board. You've got to try and make time to do that, and it's it's serious brain work. And you need to be like this time of the morning. For me, that's my sort of optimum time to do, to be on the board or to do tricky stuff, so you make that time, so that you do have to manage your time really carefully, otherwise you can find that you're just working too many hours.
And then I guess finally, talking about the projects which you have up and coming, where do you sort of see the business going within the next 5 years?
Well, I'm not getting any younger. So I think I actually, I suppose what I'd really like to do is I'd like to have, it would be great to be able to pick and choose clients more. And I think that I would be thinking about possibly just working, like maybe doing a 4-day week or something, or being prepared to do that, and to wait for the right project to come along. I don't take every project on, and I do vet them so carefully, because if you take the wrong client on, it's just horrible. It's like a sort of bad divorce, it's just total brain damage. It goes on for like a year and a half or 2 years. So it's not about that. It's about just fun projects, just kind of projects that really suit me really well, that I know that I can do well, I've got the good skills at, and just waiting more for those to come along. And just maybe bigger projects, fewer bigger projects. But it's quite hard to control. That would be an aim. But actually, my clients are just adorable.
Yeah.
Just great. I love working with them.
Oh, good. It sounds like you've got a substantial amount of work to keep you going for some time now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, you know, when you're self-employed. My brother's he's also self-employed. He's an architectural photographer. He used to be an architect when he went into photography, and we have these conversations where you suddenly think, oh, I'm never going to get another job again,
Yeah.
and then you get a while when there's not very many inquiries, and then suddenly it just happens year after year after year. It's just a strange thing. Yeah, it just seems to. And after a certain time, I think, well, it's just going to keep going.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Somehow.
Sometimes,
of course, the longer you've already been going, the more of a client base you have. More people know you, etc. Yeah.
Appreciate the quiet whilst it's there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you, Petra. I'll just pause the interview there.